Okay, they
Wait,
can't
wait,
hear
wait.
us.
Yeah, wait a minute. They can't hear us.
They can't hear us.
Yeah, they can't. YouTube, right? Awesome.
Yeah. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Vivek?
Wait 30
Are we
seconds now.
audible? Guys, can you please let us know in the chat whether we're audible or not?
Stream has 30-second latency. You just said that.
Our comments are off. Could we please switch it on?
We are audible now.
Okay, we are audible.
Apparently,
Do we start from the beginning?
Nah, okay, yeah. Please start from the beginning.
Okay.
A very good evening to everyone present here. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the induction program of the Winter School.
To those not familiar with what is GDSC, Google Developer Student Clubs are university-based community groups for students like you interested in Google Developer technologies. We provide a platform for creativity, willingness, skills, and expertise. We try to make education accessible by conducting regular meetups, workshops, study jams, hackathons, webinars, and interactive hands-on sessions. The goal of GDSC is to foster coding culture and to foster the growth and nurture young developers. We are working to build a developer community where people can learn, create, cooperate, exchange ideas, and grow together.
We thank Dr. Himabindu Ma'am, HOD of CSE Department in NIT Andhra Pradesh for her immense support and guidance to GDSC.
Now I'd like to call upon Ritvik, who is our GDSC lead for NIT Andhra Pradesh.
Um, Thank you, Archana and Ananya, for such a warm welcome. Just feels like deja vu because I just said the same thing around 2 minutes ago. Due to an audio lag, I had to repeat the same thing over. So, so here all, so I'm the lead for GDSC chapter of NIT Andhra Pradesh, and the surprising thing here is that we started off around just 3 to 4 months ago properly conducting events, and in such a short amount of time we reached to around 530 responses for conducting this winter school. So you can just see the scale in which we are growing, right? So this, just take this as a glimpse of how we conduct our events. And again, if we are students from our side, so we'll try our best to make this experience as smooth as possible for you. Unfortunately, we actually wanted you to be present in the meet, but due to the overwhelming amount of responses, we cannot accompany all of you in the meet. So we felt it would be equal for everyone to be present on YouTube. Don't feel disconnected at all. If you have any doubts, Google Classroom is open, WhatsApp chat is open, and even the YouTube comments are open. You can comment anything. Memes are also fine as long as they don't break out the community guidelines, right? So here we appreciate fun learning, but at the same time decorum need to be maintained in order not to push the boundaries ahead. So first question that comes up is, what is the necessity of winter school? So what is the need for us to come up with winter school? This question actually came to us from one of was few of our juniors who are asking us to learn, asking us about fundamentals and what they want to learn and what they should learn for better placements or internships. And provided like each one of us have different areas of expertise and different areas of interests here in the same group that we have. For example, Raja Karthik is completely into web development. Mamur is more into app development and even web development bit here and there. And as of myself, well, I am currently doing almost anything I can find my hands on. So in this way, we are spread out in every single area. So what we thought of is, what could be a starter package for anyone to start their development course with, in such a way that learning these tiny skills can at least help them nudge a bit towards getting an internship, right? So if you're a student, and like any student who's below fourth year, you would obviously be looking for an internship, and I think if you're a fourth year, you will definitely be looking for a job placement. For all of these, we thought of coming up with curriculum that will be very easy for you to learn, very manageable for you to learn, and provide a small platform for you where you can chat with other people of like mindset, come together and grow together, because that is how civilizations were built. We are a social group. So we thought, what could be the three different things that every company or anything looks forward to? The first thing is basically your base, which you need to showcase your talent. That is done via web development, where you will be showcasing creating websites is one of the most common ways of getting into development arena, right? The second is, how do you manage code between multiple people, right? Corporations have hundreds and thousands of people who write code, and how do they manage between themselves? This is extremely important in terms of a job placement or even an internship where you have large teams working together. For that, Git and GitHub is a very helping course. And finally, we have DSA, data structures and algorithms, which basically reduces the time in whatever you're trying to do. So overall, each of these codes have their own importance, and they go in a way that they will be helping you one way or the other. Now, from my suggestion is to participate in all three of them. Now, you may be wondering, oh Ritvik, I've already filled a form for just DSA, or I've filled a form just for Git and GitHub. How can I get into others? Right? This is just an induction program where we want you to have an idea, basic crux of what we will be teaching you. So even if you want to join other classrooms as well, go forward and join. It's all up to you. We're keeping it as flexible as possible. Join anywhere you want. You can do whatever you want. But here's another thing which I really want you people to know before we start off is that we are providing a course just for 8 days. Development cannot be learned in 8 days. Nothing can be learned in 8 days. So please keep that in mind. What we are trying to provide is just a basic understanding. So you will have a small idea of how to continue forward. Most of you will definitely like this. I think 95 to 99% of you will be okay with this platform. There may be one or two exceptional people who actually may feel this to be a little underwhelming or overwhelming. That is normal. You can contact us directly. We'll try to help you as much as possible, which is something which no other course provider is doing outside. That is one-on-one guidance. If you feel troublesome anywhere in your learning platform, we'll be there to help you, right? So for the certification, there are obviously some criteria. So let us go ahead and look at the criteria for the certification. There's just one criteria, and that is submission of a solution challenge, which will be given at the end of this course around by 30th of December, and you'll be given a week time to work on the solution challenge and submit it on 7th January. By the end of 7th Jan is where you will be requested to submit a solution challenge program. Right now, this here's the reason that our course is quite different is that we are trying to make you work practically, because you learn more when you're working practically. You learn more when you're learning by yourself. Development is a self-learning course. So here, that is the main idea which we went behind this. So solution challenge is something which will be completely based on what you did itself. For example, in the web development course, your end solution challenge most probably would be to develop a small website, and in Git and GitHub, it would be to launch any small particular project online, try to fork. There are some processes where you'll be merging, forking, and all these other stuff. Now, coming to DSA, DSA is highly theoretical concept is what we will be focusing on, because we also want to take into account people who don't know programming languages at all. So depending on how the classes are proceeding, we'll be adjusting solution challenge for that. Remember, solution challenge will be made in a way that 75% of you would be easily able to solve it. We are saying 75% because we want to have some level of difficulty where you try to do something on your own. And now here's the thing. Any doubt you get, anytime, you can post it anywhere, and we are a group of 30 plus people who are continuously monitoring chats everywhere, and we'll definitely get back to you within like 2 to 3 hours itself. Let it be midnight as well, because there are people who visit entire midnight as well. So even if you're posting questions late night too, we'll still be able to answer that. So don't feel shy. Don't shy away from thinking Why not to ask this? Every question is a valid question. Just think about that. Just think in such a way. Or everyone here is there to learn itself. So with that, we'll commence forward and see how this course proceeds. All the best.
As part of the winter school, we are launching three courses. The first one is Git and GitHub, second one is web development, and the last one is data structures and algorithms. All of the above courses are taught by experienced and qualified members. To show you what we mean, let me introduce you to the Git and GitHub mentor, Mamoor, who is going to give you a small glimpse of the upcoming classes.
Right. Hello everyone. Uh, um I would be the mentor for your Git and GitHub classes, and I mainly work on development tasks, and yeah, I wish to look forward to working with you guys. Our objectives would be to get you more into getting you into the hands-on stuff, and um, getting your projects online and visible to the world. And with like starting off with session one, we would be dealing into what Git actually is. um, like the Git is important in the sense that, like, you might be familiar with Stack Overflow, and yearly Stack Overflow does annual surveys of different technologies that developers use, and more than 90% of people use Git for their project management. So as a skill, Git is extremely handy to have. And the first session will deal more into the theoretical stuff, and some commands that will help you out understand Git a little more closely. The next session, we will try to get us introduced into GitHub. So with Git, with the knowledge of Git, we will be able to showcase our code to the world and build up a profile using our GitHub profiles. And that is like in the crux. GitHub is that the social aspect of Git. So we will deal into how what GitHub is, and how we can get ourselves more like more out as like we can develop our profiles as developers. Next session would be like trying to get one of our demo project done, which is a Jekyll blog with the web development fundamentals that you learn from the web dev course. So this would be more of like this would be like development, more much more focused on development. And this we would be trying to incorporate the web dev basics that we learned from the web dev course, and try to merge that into one neat package to for you to post as a project on your GitHub. Thank you. Hello.
Next we have Karthik, who will guide you with the web development course and give you a brief of what he has in store with you in the upcoming sessions.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Karthik, and I'll be your mentor for the web development course. So I have been working in the industry for about in the software industry for about 2 years. I have some internship experiences, and I have joined Big Basket recently. I think you'll be aware of Big Basket, right? So I'll be teaching you the web development course. I have been through the web development techniques, and my web development journey is in the past two. I've been learning it for the past 2 years. Yeah, so I have actually decided to make the course into a into 3 sessions. So each session would be 1.5 hours, and at the end of the course, the point is to make you build your own portfolio. So uh, so so in the first day, what my goal would be is to know is to let you know what do you mean by a portfolio, and what points make your portfolio distinguish from others. So you want your own portfolios to stand out among all the other applicants if you have applied for some particular job or some particular role in somewhere. So you want your own portfolio to stand out so that they select you. So all those points will be covered in the first session, and after that we'll be going into the HTML and CSS basics. The HTML and CSS are the basic building blocks of web development. So I will not be taking any theory classes here. Everything will be practical. See, what I believe is you have to learn anything through coding, like Ritvik pointed out. So learning through practical experiences is much more valuable than learning anything theoretically. So what we'll be doing is I'll actually show you at the beginning of the session. I'll show you the output. See some website that I would have worked on some previous event, and at the end of the session, I would have coded out lively so that you can actually follow me by typing out the code. I'll explain each and every line and type out the code, and you would have actually built that website in your own system by the end of the session. So in the first session, we'll do that only using HTML and CSS. So in the second session, uh, I'll give some basic introduction to JavaScript. So JavaScript, in my opinion, is the most powerful programming language that I have ever used. So I worked in Java, Python, C++, C hash. So I've done some work in each and every of those languages. But in my opinion, JavaScript is the most powerful language. So I'll just give you some intro regarding JavaScript, and we'll include JavaScript to the website with to the site that we would have built in the first session. So that is how you are going to upgrade your own work, and then I'll give you some introduction to Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is basically a shortcut that we can use to avoid all the manual coding that we undergo uh, during the front end coding. So front end coding is really painful because you have to adjust each and every element perfectly, and suppose your viewpoint changes, means suppose you start to see your the website in a mobile, uh, all the dimensions of the site change, and the website becomes really messed up. So what Bootstrap does is it helps us create very much responsive sites. So the sites look good even though you see it from different viewpoints, like using laptops or mobile. So that shortcut I'll be teaching you. It is very simple. You just need to follow the Bootstrap documentation. So in the second session, the main task would be to convert all the code that we would have written in the first session to a Bootstrap code, where we use Bootstrap uh, code to actually make it more responsive, and I'll show you the difference before and after using Bootstrap there. Yeah, and in the third session, it will also be a 1.5 hour session. I'll introduce you some advanced JavaScript concepts. So I told you JavaScript is very powerful. So you can actually do anything with JavaScript. See, in the beginning, I also learned JavaScript like, yeah, one another coding language, but it is not so. I had read some books regarding JavaScript, and I got to know the real power of JavaScript. You can do anything. You can do wonders with JavaScript. So I'm really a fan of JavaScript. So and we'll include one such feature in our site that we are going to create. So that is, you would have come across contact us or contact me in various websites. So there you type out some message and you click on send. What happens is a message would be sent to that particular owner's website's owner. So that's feature I'll be making you implement by coding it out in front of you. You will be able to follow it, and if you follow me in the course throughout, you will be able to understand, and you will be able to create more and more complicated features. And then finally, I'll be taking doubts if you have any on that day. Yeah, so this is how I had planned the third 3 session course. So everything will be practical, nothing theoretical, and you have to be on coding in your system to actually excel in this course. So yeah, that is how I plan to do it.
The next course is Data Structures and Algorithms, which is being mentored by the GDSC lead Ritvik himself, who will now help you comprehend the course details.
Yeah. Thank you, Ananya. So, first off, DSA is something which cannot be learned even given provided even 2 to 3 months of time. I'm just putting forward this ahead so you won't have this misconception where you hear from many people saying that DSA is hard and a contradictory statement from us saying that you can learn DSA in 8 days. What we'll be doing here is providing you a very base structure of what DSA is. What DSA does basically, what is the necessity of DSA in the sense is that you have programs that you write, no? You have websites that are loading, you have Google's own web page. Now imagine you're searching something on Google and you're not getting a response for around 2 to 3 minutes. How do you feel? Leave 2 to 3 minutes. Even if the response is delayed by 3 seconds, you'll be pissed off. You'll be fully angry at Google. Then you'll again check if your phone is not working. So you can see we are at a time where our attention span is reducing, and our programs need to be faster. Now, for a user's perspective, time is one of the most precious thing for them. But in a programmer's perspective, time is our greatest enemy. You have to code things as fast as you can. Your whatever you're programming, right, it needs to go as fast as it can. Now provided that DSA is a course which is a little bit on top of a cherry on top of the entire cupcake that you made right now using web development and Git and GitHub, right? So DSA is something that will speed up your processes. Right now you may be thinking, why does my simple website need speeding up? You're right, most of the times it may not, but now you just multiplied that with the economies of scale that are present outside, right? A single website, if your website, for example, you have like 1 or 2 MB of data that you want to show, and if it is taking like 1 nanosecond, now imagine the amount of data that Google has to have in its backend for your search query to be answered, right? Can you just think it's an astronomically high you can it's an enormously large amount of data. It's around like 15 or 16 petabytes of data which is being sent through Google's wires down the Atlantic Ocean every second, apparently. I'm not completely sure about the numbers, but it is somewhere in the petabytes itself. So for that data to be controlled, DSA, what it does is basically help you in understanding and framing your data and calibrating your data in such a way that you'll be able to retrieve information fast or send information fast. Remember, when you're trying to use data, what is the purpose of having data, right? If I'm collecting the entire data and keeping it in my database or any user base that I have, the future need for that would be to either showcase it to someone when they are requiring it or to sort it for my own analysis, right? For both of them, we would be using DSA a lot. And another thing, DSA is actually more like your placements booster. Now, any high-end MNC that you take, like Google itself as an example, Google, Goldman Sachs, or any other MNC that you take, requires DSA as a basic for you to actually qualify the coding rounds. So they'll just test if you're able to come up with the kinky mindset, with that tricks where you can speed up the program that you are given in a faster sense. Now we will still be following the same 3 session breakdown itself, like DSA, like Git and GitHub and web development did. But in 3 days, what we obviously cannot go through the entire stuff. And there are also YouTube comments asking for people who are having doubts regarding first years and people who are unexperienced. So don't worry. What we will be trying to do is we'll just be going through the very basic conceptual understanding of it, and if time permits, then we will be dealing more into the coding aspect of it. 80% of the DSA course will be conceptual based itself on what I will be trying to handle. And this also depends on the first class that we conduct. We'll be looking at the crowd. I'll definitely take crowd into a huge factor. And depending on how you feel the class to be conducted, is how we'll proceed with the same. So it'll be completely dynamic according to how you feel and how you would adjust to the class itself. Now, going to the session breakdown, We'll just go through a three session breakdown itself. So the first session would be held on this Friday from 6:30 to 7:30, where I'll be teaching you very small data concepts, that is arrays and linked lists, stacks and queues. Now, arrays and linked lists are basically kind of like chaining up your data. Linked list is basically like chaining up your data for having one data point access for accessing an entire row. It's kind of like your list. If you have gone through Python basics, it's similar to your list itself. And similar concept of arrays. Now, stacks and queues are also quite a kind of similar on the same scale, where you will be learning on how the data is arranged, first in, first out, or last in, first out. So all these strategies, it's going to be very simple. We'll be going through very rudimentary class itself, and if time permits, then we'll also go into coding of this particular these same things in C. The reason we have chosen C is that it is a very basic language, and it's pretty easy to learn, where you will be learning a lot more based on linked lists and arrays, especially in C. Now, there are people out there who may be asking, why not C++? We would be going for C++ as well, but if you're understanding concepts in C, because right now there is a divide between the languages which are being asked. Comparative programming is either going completely into C++, or people are still using Python. By learning C, C++ syntax is also almost pretty similar, so you would not have any issue in following C++ and Python as well. Because Python is much more abstract, it will be very easy for you to go by. So that was the reason we chose C to be the language to go by. Now, session two. Session two, after session one, we'll obviously be giving you 2 days of gap, and we'll be conducting session two on Monday. Uh, So in session two, we'll be going through trees, graphs, and heaps. Now, remember that Google search that I was talking about? Now you're searching something online. Let us say you want the Christmas is coming up and you want to purchase some gift. Now, as soon as I type, I want a gift, you will get automatic recommendations below, right? You'll be, I want a gift for Christmas, for New Year, for girls, for kids. How do you get that? That is ordered in a very structural way, where each one of your query, each one of the letter that you're giving in is taken as an input, where it is running a neural machine, which is machine learning algorithms, and predicting what the next query will be. Now, for this entire prediction to happen, you need to have some structural flow. That flow is properly maintained by using trees, right? Graph is a very simple example for graph is your Google Maps. For every single road that you have, if you're trying to go from your home to school, you'll have different directions to take. Every single place that you're having an intersection is your node, right? Don't worry, I'll be repeating this again. I'm just giving you a small glimpse of what this is. If the first course is just teaching you what to use, what the system thinks is data, in the second one you'll be using how to manipulate and structurize this data. First is data, then you have structure. Now we'll be going for the algorithmic aspect. That is session 3, which will be held on Wednesday, again 6:30 to 7:30. We're keeping it out of class hours, so most of you would be able to engage it directly in the Google Meet itself rather than watching it as a recording, right? So right now we have seen about data, then structure, now algorithms. Algorithms, there are basically sorting and searching type of algorithms. You either have to sort a data or you have to search through the data. This is how majority of the problems in real world can be solved. Now, after learning all these things, you'll be questioning what is the purpose of doing it. So we will actually be going through practical implementations of these algorithms itself. A very simple thing can be depending on the class speed and the ability to catch up. If time permits, we'll actually code how to build a Google web server from scratch. So there are materials outside where you can actually code an entire Google web emulator from scratch, and we will be going through that if time permits for us. So, and this is a DSA's course, but here is what I want to tell this again. In 3 sessions, you cannot learn everything. What we are trying to do is just provide a very basic structure. This applies across the board, not just for DSA. It applies for Git and GitHub and web development as well. Probably the easiest for you to understand would be Git and GitHub. And there is a huge necessity for learning Git and GitHub because corporate world completely works around Git, and many of them use GitHub as well. Now, there are questions that have come up on YouTube and YouTube comments, which where people are asking about, why not learning advanced algorithms? Well, if you're not understanding basics, how can you build a skyscraper, buddy? So the reason for understanding Git and GitHub is that there's a three structure framework that the companies use a lot. Now, one structure is your core programming essential knowledge, which is basically the DSA, which is basically web development. That will be your specialization. Your specialization can either be in web development, app development, or any other courses. But most generically, if you're a person who are looking for internships, web and app are one of the most common places where you'll be getting internships. So that will be your specialization. DSA will help you improve that specialization a bit more to make your code a bit faster in some applications. And Git and GitHub integrates the entire thing. You'll be working in a team with thousands of people out there, and corporates also work with people in thousands of groups, right? Managing code across is the most essential thing. Now imagine you are doing something and the other person also does the same thing, and you forgot where the actual code is. Now whatever efforts you put through the entire months of that will be just lost in the end. So Git and GitHub is also very essential. All these three courses we have curated it by asking our professors, by asking our seniors who were placed in who were placed in very good companies like Amazon itself, and they have suggested that this would be a very good starter pack. And we have selected these courses in a way that you will be getting a rudimentary understanding. Now, and also before we continue further, you have to learn on your own. Every one of us here, we learned the best by learning on our own itself. What we are trying to do, GDSC NIT Andhra Pradesh winter school session is trying to do, is put a carpet over the rugged road that you have to cross. That is all we are doing. We'll just show you where the path is and we'll just put a carpet over it. It's your job to walk that path, and you can do that by attentively listening to classes, by continuously asking us doubts if you have any, by experimenting things on your own, and finally doing whatever you feel the best to finish it off, right? At the ending, this entire course will definitely give you a lot of benefits. The first one being your own personal website, which you will be able to complete it if you're enrolled in web development course. And through DSA, if you're enrolling through Git and GitHub, you will be able to launch that website successfully and also work around that. And if you're enrolling into DSA course, you'll be able to learn how to speed up, and you'll be getting a kickstart program for your competitive programming abilities. Now you may question our own ability of teaching, right? And let me tell you this: Raja Karthik and Mamur, these people are expertise at what they do. Each one of them, they have their own. They are working in companies already for almost like 2 years, and they have been churning out a lot of efforts and a lot of work. And there are people out there and who have experiences in real life, which we are bringing in as speakers up forth. So we'll be letting you know that as well. And coming to myself, even for my internship, I actually achieved an internship at IISER Bhopal, IISER Bhopal, and for that too, they asked me DSA questions itself. That was a research internship in computer vision. So that is completely towards ML side. So for me too, DSA helped. And for my personal website to be built, I used the web development course, and I used Git and GitHub to launch it. And that was how my professor actually got to know me through my website. Looking at my website, he thought I had potential. So you see, those two courses helped me get an interview, and I was able to qualify that interview with the help of DSA. So all these three courses will actually definitely help you come up in your programming aspects. So that is all, and so we'll continue with the schedule as well. The schedule, whatever we have published, is what we will be using forward. And we just didn't want this to make a simple boring sessions where we will be continuously teaching topics and you have to note down stuff. So we actually brought in amazing speakers as well, they will be which the other uh, uh, GDSC team will be announcing it pretty soon. We have three amazing speakers who will be speaking about their real life experiences, and this is something which you should definitely listen to. These other classes you can listen online, that's not an issue, but these sessions we definitely would want you to participate. We recommend you to participate in all as many as the classes that you can, because being present in that class is much better than listening to a recording. COVID taught me that. And our exams also have taught us that. So with that, I'll give it to the team for continuing it further. Thanks a lot.
This is a schedule we'll be following for the entire winter school program. Please join the classes and sessions accordingly using the Gmeet link we'll be providing in the WhatsApp groups and via mails. And in case if you miss any classes, please do not worry. We'll be sending in the recorded videos in the Google Classrooms after each class.
Additionally, we'll be bringing in our special speakers as well, who will be sharing with you their experiences and uh, stuff they're specializing in. So our very first speaker is Faizullah Sharif, who is an iOS developer, and he'll be mainly focusing on Git and GitHub.
Our next speaker is Shruti PG. She's a final year computer science student and a UX researcher. She'll be presenting you with the topic tech study methodology and web development pathway.
Our last speaker would be Nikhil Malankar. His session will be taken on 30th December, and he'll be taking a course, like a session on a very interesting topic of game development. So those of you who are interested in game development should definitely join his session. He's also the CEO of Gameon, which is one of the leading game development companies in India. So I would recommend all of you to definitely take part in this session as well.
And yeah, we are looking for future PUBG as well from your team itself, and we have high expectations on you. So don't fail us. And yeah, regarding the internships, right? Many people have been asking about where we would be providing internships through. The first place is that after you attain your certification, that is by providing the solution challenge, and our team will be going through the solution challenge. And depending on the solution challenge, your submissions will be dividing you into different tiers. And for people who are in the high tier, we'll try to provide you with the best of the best. And even Nikhil Malankar also, we will be providing you your contact if you are interested in game development directly to him and to other people who are working in MNCs. There are some contacts of our alumni itself who are there in companies who can aid you in getting internships. And so that is for internships and even for jobs also. There are some alumni who are readily willing to help. Honeywell, Honeywell and Deloitte are two companies which we have some alumni support in and which can help you a bit. So that also completely depends on how you have developed through this entire week. Adding to that, we also will be planning other sessions coming forth. The first one would be resume build up and your profile building session, which will be conducted right after this winter school in the month of Jan, maybe in the second week of Jan. So you can definitely join that. That will be open for everyone because we feel that knowledge is better when it is shared, and we can see the entire community bloom up rather than a single flower. So that is how we want development to proceed forward. And if you have any better resources up in your hands, you can share that in the classroom too. Classroom is a completely open space. Don't think of this to be your university or school classrooms where you're not allowed to talk. You can chat how much ever you want, but please make it relevant to the topics. All the different chat rooms that we made, you can join in them, and in whatever chat room classroom you feel to be valid for you. After hearing out, you have heard out about all three sessions. Myself personally, I would recommend you to join for all three of them and test them out, because they're all amazing courses and they're all being taught by great people. I think that's a little narcissistic to call myself great, but the sentence just came forth. So, other than that, thank you for joining us. And even though we had technical difficulties, we still see around 100 plus participants who are continuously watching this. So, thank you. Thanks a lot for the support, and we're looking forward to seeing the session. If you have any doubts, you can keep posting in the YouTube comments as well as in the WhatsApp or anywhere else you find convenient for you to post it through. So the tomorrow's classes onwards will be conducted completely in the Meet format itself to make it more interactive towards you. And if the limit exceeds in the Meet, then we'll be looking for different alternatives. But until that comes up, we'll be definitely conducting classes in the Meets for making it more interactive and much more helpful for all of us to go for. Uh, If you have any doubts, we'll still be keeping the live stream open for another 5 minutes where all of us will be answering your doubts. So, yeah. Anything else from the team to say? You're muted, Mahmood.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the comments are turned off, so uh, you guys can post it in the classroom. That would be best. 8,000.
Sure. Internship, yes. The last question that I see is internship chances for first years too. Yes, we'll be providing it for everyone. Your age doesn't matter, your enthusiasm does. So, yeah, and other questions too, we'll be getting back to you as soon as this finishes. Our team will also get back to you. And first off, thank you for the entire team for organizing this. Even though sitting at home and doing this is quite